good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
What's greetings, Earth?
Same genius time.
Any demographic I identify with.
I don't believe you murder.
I think an ignorant voter and a non-voter
What he did. He took the military out
are
before
one and
he
the
took
same.
the civilians.
Same
Who does
genius
that?
channel.
Under his watch.
What
Know
has
something,
he done
bro.
about police reform in this country? Nothing.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Unsolicited Genius. I am your curator, Carlton Ennis. I will not be joining you today. And when the cat's away, the mice will play. So Craig and Uncle Mo will be discussing Black trauma. They will mock some of the mock drafts. And we're going to test Uncle Mo's poetic chops. We hope to give you something to ponder.
Brother, what is Black trauma?
Black trauma is like the historical impact that racism has had on Black people from generation to generation. So that it says it can even be passed down from generation to generation because it leads to increased anxiety, depression, hypervigilance, for example, would all be examples of like Black trauma. Or you ever heard the stereotype of Black people don't go to the doctor, Craig?
Yes, I have.
That comes from the healthcare that Black people have been provided to. History has created this phobia where they are scared of the healer. And that is why Black people don't like to go to the doctor, because they don't trust the damn doctor. Those would be examples of Black trauma.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You know, that does make sense of an example of Black trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with the idea. I've probably the phrase Black trauma doesn't hit my radar very often. So my question then would be, who does the healing and how does the healing happen?
Who does the healing and how? Well, Black people need to get to the healing. The problem is, are the resources available to help Black people heal? It's therapy, man. Like anything that any traumatic experience that anybody goes through, you need therapy in order to overcome that trauma. It's like, dog, think about it this way, right? When you see like a white lady and you pass her walking down the street, right? And let's say or that would be an example of Black trauma, because we're hyper vigilant to that. We're almost become subconsciously trained to look out for these things, even if they might not be there, because that is the perception of how we believe people view us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And these feelings lead to anxiety and depression in Black people at a higher rate than it does into white people, because there's the perceived racism that Black people have to go through. It creates like environmental stressors. Like, dog, code switching would be an example of Black trauma. When you work at a white establishment, you don't feel like you can be your authentic Black self. Why?
I don't know if I've been code switching since I got here and before race was pointed out to me.
Why do you do it?
Because American kids wanted to learn how to curse.
It's the feeling like who I am authentically doesn't fit into what they feel should be at a workplace, so I have to act in a manner that's more digestible for them, to put them at comfort, even though it makes me feel uncomfortable. That would be another example.
I think to some extent everybody has to quote unquote code switch at work, and we just call it workplace etiquette or professional decorum, professionalism. think everybody, to some extent, has to figure out what the etiquette is of an environment and adjust to it. Do I understand the point, the idea that you're trying to explain in terms of Black trauma? Yeah. What are the other things you found on Black trauma, man?
All right, so other things I found on Black trauma. A book named "Lay My Burden Down: Suicide and the Mental Health Crisis Among African Americans." The author of the book argues that why African American young men have seen such an increase in the suicide rate is they might just view the afterlife to be a better life than the life that they live in, dealing with the racism that they encounter. They talk about how Black trauma leads to depression, leads to anxiety, leads to over anxiousness. It's like me and Craig were talking before the show started. We were talking about you're keenly aware of who you are when you are a Black person in America and how people that don't look like you perceive you. Even if they're not perceiving you in that manner, your senses are heightened to make you feel uncomfortable, even in situations where there could be nothing there. Another book, she talks about how Black people hide the pain that they feel from mental health because we've been conditioned to feel like it's a sign of weakness. Another gentleman argues that it's post-traumatic slave syndrome that talks about the effects of unresolved trauma on the behaviors of Black people that are transmitted from generation to generation. So the trauma that you might feel as a Black man or a Black woman can actually be transmitted onto your children, which is a fascinating argument to make. I just think we live in a society, man, where it's unfortunate, that Black people all the time talk about code switching. To me, that's a form of Black trauma. They don't feel like they can be their genuine, organic, natural selves at work. They feel like they have to.
You're not speaking for me.
For a lot of Black people, especially Black people in corporate America, they don't feel like they can be their authentic selves at work, and that they have to almost play a game or act in a manner that's more digestible to their white colleagues in order to make their white colleagues feel comfortable. I see it all the time in young people, man. I definitely see it in young people, and it's almost like they unnaturally pick up on it. And I'm not sure, like you asked me before, what is the solution for this? I couldn't tell you what the solution is, Craig. I wish I had that answer. I really do. I wish I had that answer. But, as with all traumas, my best guess would be, therapy. It takes therapy and seeking the help you need in order to reach the point where you have, my good brother, where you just feel comfortable enough in your own skin to be your own authentic self. Me and my father-in-law, we talk about this all the time. And he's always like, it's a mistake to just be like, I just want to be who I am. But it's like, my argument is shouldn't that be what we're striving for? To where you could just be authentically and organically who you are, no matter the setting. And the other part about trauma that I'd like to discuss is just in the actual healthcare system that Black people experience. Just a few stats, and then I'll go more into the history of it. 11.3 infants that are Black die at birth per 100,000 infants, in comparison to 4.9 white infants. Black women die at the age of 78 and a half in comparison to white women at age 81. Out of 100,000 births, Craig, 44 Black women die every 100,000 births in comparison to 13 white women. Studies show that minorities receive less quality of health care even when they have the same resources such as money or health care available to them. There's a young lady, Harriet Washington. She wrote a book called Medical Apartheid. And she talks about a thing called ratrophobia, which is fear of the healer. Um, one of the biggest things in Black trauma that I noticed is Black people are very hesitant to go to the doctor. And one of the reasons for this is the conditioning throughout the years of they don't trust white doctors because you go back to slavery, Craig. What was the white doctor used for in the South during slavery during the slavery era for Black people?
We had there were doctors.
But what purpose did they serve for Black people? Like, were they there to ensure that they were healthy and lived longer? No, their original purpose in the South and the way they made their money is they made sure the slaves were healthy enough for purchase off the boat. Once they were healthy enough for purchase off the boat, then their job was to make sure the slaves stayed alive so the master could get a proper return on his investment. In 1807, when Congress banned the importation of slaves into America, the Black woman becomes more valuable because they need the Black woman to keep giving birth in order to have slaves. And during this time, the Black woman is expected to pump out babies like crazy, and white doctors are conducting experiments on the Black woman in order to further genealogy. James Marion Sims, he is considered to be the founder of gynecology in America. He starts conducting 30 operations on a slave named Orachna, starting from when she was 17 years old. And in these operations, he develop medical instruments that are still used today and techniques that are still used today? Yes. But he also, perpetuates this myth that Black people don't feel pain, that these Black women didn't feel the pain. And in my opinion, when you say if people don't feel pain, you're taking away their humanity. So, that to me also contributes to the trauma that Black people, live with in this country.
I got you, bro. I'm sorry. I can't fake it. I'm
lost for words.
I think part of my issue with talking about slavery in the past tense is because I don't think it's in the past. I just think plantation.
I'm talking about how it still contributes to the trauma that we feel today.
I just think plantations turn to corporations, and you can't trap all your employees on one piece of land anymore. So you give them a sense of freedom, but there's other ways to track them. And I don't think it ended. I don't think it ended. I think it changed form. They got rebranded. So when you, and I don't,
Dog, when you see the numbers when it comes to healthcare and healthcare, especially for Black people in this country, it really makes you wonder about the point you just made, dog. Like, how can a Black woman be 4 times more likely to die giving birth than a white woman when the medicine's pretty much the same? Like the procedures for giving birth are pretty much the same. When Kamaria was having our son, we purposely seeked out a Black woman to be her doctor because we knew these statistics. And it scared the shit out of me, to be honest with you, dog. Like, it was just like a terrifying thing to become made aware of.
Yeah, well, a lot of the research that is put towards healthcare and medicine, I just don't get the feeling that the research is done on, my DNA type, right?
That's the
they're
crazy
not
part,
looking
Craig.
for answers to suit my type.
Back in the day, they were running all these experiments on Black people because they didn't want to subject white people to this pain. Like, now, John, what's his name? My boy, that's the father of gynecology. He didn't even give the Black women anesthesia, even though anesthesia was invented, because he really believed that they didn't feel pain. Like, they were like, you know, it's like, because they're not like human, they're like animals. It doesn't matter what we conduct on them as long as we get stopped. He was so cruel that some of his white colleagues left because they thought the experiments were too cruel. And then all that was left was him and the black women he was running the experiments on, and he would make them restrain each other so he could keep doing what he wanted to do to them. It's like,
A great
you know,
example in how power corrupts.
yeah, but it's like you're saying, like, it doesn't feel like they do these experiments on people, and I feel like obviously today it's not.
They ain't E1B1.
Yeah, because it's not. Or like, for example, like, they were pumping out, they wanted the black woman to pump out babies like crazy during slavery, right? You know, because those babies became free sources of labor. You didn't even have to pay for those bodies. That was just on the house. You know what I'm saying? But once slavery was gone, they were giving hysterectomies to black women without their consent. Like, just to stop the black population from increasing. Like Fannie Lou Hamer, activist, amazing activist back in the day. She went in to get a tumor removed. She also got a hysterectomy somehow. Like, they were just giving out hysterectomies without people's consent. And it's like your thought on, you don't feel like they do experiments on people like that look like us, right? To serve us in medicine.
Yeah.
Like,
E1B1 left out.
yeah, like, so it does kind of feel that way. Like, especially when you look at these numbers, because it's like, how is this possible, dog? Like, how is it possible that doctors that go to school to deliver babies, for some reason, black women are dying at a rate that's 4 times greater than white women? It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's when we aren't necessarily factored into their research, that it's not being researched to benefit anyone E1B1 blood type or related.
And to your point and that thought that you had about that, it's like, that's why there's a lot of black people, dog, that don't go to the doctor even when they're experiencing things that should lead them to the doctor. They just don't trust the medical professionals.
Oh. You know, another phenomenon that I encounter, I think it's also a thing where people are afraid to look stupid. So I think that plays a role in it. As you know, the reputation of the doctor being this educated person, and I think in some cases people might be hesitant to ask certain questions, or some people are intimidated by intelligence and being around people that they know could outsmart them or play them for a fool. I think they're very wary of and now if there's trauma to multiply that, whether it be, you know, like you say, race trauma, or your some issues you developed as a kid would avoid, you know, whatever issues, they're going to play into that. Issues play into all your relationships, some more than others, and those that are intimidated by intelligent people or somebody who's perceived as intelligent, I don't think they're going to sign up to go be around them for long either, and especially feel like an idiot asking them a question. One of the worst fears is that if somebody's smarter than you, then they can outsmart you, get the better of you.
I mean, you know, just to tie it back to back in the day and today, in 1851, there was a book called The Natural History of the Human Species. And in this book, they claim the American dark races bear with indifference tortures insupportable to a white man, basically saying that dark races can handle torture that a white man could never handle. In a recent study, Craig, they said black Americans are systematically underrated for pain relative to white Americans, especially in the ER. So, like, if you go to the emergency room, they take what you're telling them to be less serious than they do when a white person walks into the ER and is complaining of pain. That's wild to me, dog. That's just wild. And this has been found to be true even in children's hospitals. So I don't know what the answer is, man, but something definitely has to change for us to have a more equitable society for all people in this country.
I agree with that.
Because a lot of the past seems to be rearing its ugly head, even still today.
Hey, dog, I've been on record saying nothing changed. People should go, I'll say it again, go back and look at the signs. Since Martin's the only one they put in any kind of book before they started blurring out the signs. Go look at what was on the signs, what his platform was when he marched. It's the same thing people were marching for in 2020. Wanted first class citizenship, wanted end to police violence. Nothing has changed, fam. I say it every episode. I'm not excited about talking about this race stuff because it's boring. Nothing's changed. It just gets a rebrand every couple of years.
I mean,
nothing's changed.
Me and you have disagreed on this because there's definitely been some change, but there's still just like a long ass way to go.
I think the corporation started realizing, the plantation evolved into a corporation, and because think about it, why are most of us working? We're not working to support our needs. We're not working to do. Come on, man. What's up, Johnny?
Say, what's up, Uncle Craig?
What's up, Uncle Craig?
What's good, my man? Good to see you.
Throw up your fist. Tell him Black Power.
Black Power.
All right, you got to go to bed. I love you. Good night.
Good night, little man.
I love you, man.
I love you so much.
I love you 3,000, man. Man, we spend our whole lives working, dog. I'd rather spend my time with my son. I don't disagree.
Yeah, it's indentured servitude. You get to tap out after 30 years in this little whatever retirement. It's just a remix of indentured servitude. Like nothing's changed. The plantation just got way bigger, and they realized the workforce got too big to trap on one property. Let them roam about the country. Just keep track of them. I.e., census. I don't think it's just got to rebrand it.
But when you say that, right? So so if you want to frame it in that context, everyone's kind of on the bigger plantation. If you're not one of the 1% or one of the elite, you are on the plantation, whether you're white or black or Hispanic, you are just providing the labor that's allowing,
if you're a part of the population that they actively market food that they know is not really food or is filled with shit that's gonna kill you, then you're on the plantation. You might be closer to the house. You might be trusted. You might be one of whatever, but no, it's still I feel like it's just a big rebrand. The signs still the protest signs from the 60s, even though they starting to blur them out online, the signs behind him or zoom in on him so you can't see all them signs. The signs said it's still complaining the same things people complain about in 2020, 4 years ago, and to some extent now.
I mean, I guess the big difference, man, is like we get paid for our labor, but it's not even about the money to me, man. It just, when I think about my life or any human's life that's in this country or any other country, man, like when you think about it, dog, you are spending the majority of your life at your job. Like 8-9 hours at work. You come home, you eat dinner, you get a couple of hours with the fam, then you go to bed, you wake up, you do the same shit over and over again. And that Craig, if you ask me why I want financial freedom, it has nothing to do with wanting a mansion or a boat or a fancy car
Exactly.
or any of that shit. I just want my time. I just want my time.
Exactly.
I don't want to spend the the bulk of my life working anywhere for anybody.
Brother,
But that is the situation that I am currently in
the
and will continue to be
crime,
in.
the crime of living in South Florida in the wintertime and the gorgeous South Florida mornings in the winter. I hate walking into that building. Every time I am walking into that building, especially during the winter in South Florida, it's criminal. It's
You know,
criminal.
the day where I feel the most depression, Sunday night. Sunday night, because I know what's coming up when I wake up after Sunday night. It's like that's my only thing about work, man. I don't mind working. We get paid to do the work that we do. It does rob you of your time. It robs you of your time.
So then look, I was sharing that I'm changing my life in 24. I can't do this any longer.
I'm
This
cheering for
BS
you.
adulthood routine, adulthood is trash. Adulthood is trash. It's been trash. There's some been little spots of happiness, real great. Adulthood is trash. So I'm speaking for me, right? I'm definitely changing my life in 24. One of the things that's got to happen is in terms of how I spend my time, that's freedom, that's power, that's luxury, having control and flexibility over your own time. So being tethered to a schoolhouse or any kind of building, it's out of there, right? So the goal is to find ways to monetize my lifestyle and doing things that I love, right? I love kids. I don't love teaching. It's a comfort zone, though. It's a comfort zone. Shout out to a mentor about 10 years ago. He said, and there's no growth in your comfort zone and no comfort in your growth zone. Love that quote. But for me, it's getting out of the comfort zone of being tethered to a schoolhouse and getting into, because I'm not necessarily, I'm comfortable. I'm not even comfortable there like I was anymore. Honestly, why am I lying? It's not even a comfort zone anymore. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. I could go into all the reasons, but it's just not. So,
Well, I think Craig, not just for you, but for all people, it's a false comfort because been programmed to believe that that's what life should be. You go to work 9 to 5, come home, get up, you do the same thing over and over. There is like that subconscious comfort because that was what we were raised to believe is the way you should live. Like you said, adulthood.
yeah, and you know what? I believe I could there should be a way. I believe I could monetize my lifestyle. I believe I could find a way to generate at least this income.
You talking about
I
that
should be able to
nighttime
monetize
show?
my lifestyle and my creation. I don't want to spend. I'm getting close to middle age. I don't want to spend the other half of them on the other side of middle age doing junk that I don't want to do. Looking forward to retirement that can't sustain me.
So
I
you
gotta
talking
do
about
something.
doing that nighttime show with Carlton, late night with Craig, with Amish Craig. Look out for it, ladies.
The Amish Craig late night is crazy.
I feel you. Yeah, man. Like, I swear to you, man. Like, if I won the lottery, dog, I would give the majority of the money to causes that I feel were worthy, and keep enough money that I could invest and just live off the interest and not have to work again. Like, that would be my favorite part of it, man.
Man, I get degrees for a hobby. I'll be somewhere with a guitar and a dog, learning how to play the guitar and maybe studying the classics or law or something. Like I'd be fascinated. I wouldn't even want to practice. I want to learn it.
I just want to spend more, like I said, man, I just want to spend more time with my son, dog. Like that's the depressing part to me about when I look at my life as currently construed is, I do feel like I spend an inordinate amount of time at work and not enough time with, Craig. One day I hope you have this feeling, dog. Like to have a kid is like a love unlike any other. He's I don't know, man. Like I love my wife, I love my mom, I love my sisters, but I've never been so in love with a person in my life the way I am, like with my son. Like, just instantly I see his face, it just makes the day better. Like, that's a crazy feeling to have. Um,
Man,
and
I think
I
that's
I
awesome.
put him on the camera because I wanted to give him a hug before he went to bed because that means a lot to me, to him and to me and his mom. We always want to kiss him, tell him we love him, send him off good night. And once you have a kid, man, like you seriously, you become a lot less about you, a lot more about him, and you start thinking like I think deeply all the time about, like you said, how can I get out of this routine of where I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, go to a place and stay at that place from about 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock every day and get to spend maybe a couple of hours with him, uh, every night, I don't know. As you get older, Craig, I really feel like when you look
That's
back
the problem. I'm getting older, Mo. So it's been sobering for me is the reality that even though I might have wanted that at one point, that's not in the cards for me. Hey, at 46, if it ain't happened by now, let's be realistic. Something's up. Hey, maybe all the little cute things that I thought were just little idiosyncrasies that were cute, maybe I'm really annoying and not built for pair bonding. Maybe.
maybe your pullout game is too strong.
What's that?
You need to go to that.
I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's the problem. But dog, I think as you reach your age, my age, we're in our 40s now, man. What young people don't realize when they're young is like, doc, you could have $1 million, right? You could lose $1 million, but you could make $1 million back. The thing you could never get back is yesterday. Time starts becoming the most valuable thing in your life when you reach our age because you realize that simple economics, right? Scarcity. Time is scarcity because it's running
Scarcity increases
out.
value.
Yeah, and the closer me and you, if things work out naturally the way they're supposed to work out, right? We're getting closer to the end of our marathon than my son is, for example. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't put any thought into that the way that we do now because we are getting closer. And I hate to say it like this, but we still have a long ways to go, but we're getting closer to our expiration, dog. And you realize
I got a good
when you
54, 55 more years, boy, then that's it.
I mean,
I'm here till 2078, homie. You got to deal with me.
Oh, you see Carlton with the salt and pepper beard every week. Like, I feel the aches when I wake up in the morning now, that I never felt when we were in school or when we were at a younger age. But
man, when I grew up, I'm
really
gonna
come down to
too.
like, how do you want to live your days? How do you want to maximize, maximize your time really here on Earth, dog? And if you ask me what's the one thing I'd want to do with my life, it's spend more time with my son. And I'm with you, man. If I could figure out a feasible way to do that where I could still be a provider and help my family, I'd hop up on that train quickly, dog. Quickly.
I'm going to share with you my Lindo logics. Lindo logically speaking. I was sharing a little bit of Lindo logics with Nitty a little earlier on something else, but in regards to time, I remember seeing in more than one place where it is explained that time is the most valuable currency of our existence, right?
I believe
Arguably the
that.
fabric. But it was, I remember a while back I was meditating and I was reading through one of the holy books, and it said giving your first fruit, right? Tithing, first fruit, giving. Like I think time is divine. It is a divine gift, right? And so I started looking at that and thinking about how the proper way for me to tithe spiritually. And I realized, well, okay, I'm just gonna take the number. They say 10%. So, I realized that so I came up with the idea that 2.4 hours a day, that needs to be time that I dedicate to. I need to dedicate that to my maker, however in all the ways that you see fit, whether it involves prayer, meditation, exercise, your devotional, whatever. But that first 10% of the day, if life is time is the first fruit and most divine fruit of them all, then that's what I should be tithing with. You know what I'm saying? Tithing with money never completely made sense. And once I kind of just got to a realization where it is even the forefathers and holy fathers and patriarchs in the book, they would make time at the beginning of their day and go off somewhere on a regular basis and get their meditation and their mind right. So that 2.4 hours, well, I want to say that's 2 hours, 24 minutes. That's 10% of your day. Think about that for tithing or when you, well, just think that's how I got to my number for how I block out my little morning and go through when I'm on my best version of myself, how I carry myself in the morning. That's the logic behind it, I should say.
And the one thing, like, I want to get, like, one of my goals in life is to get through to my son, the importance of time, the urgency.
Time value.
The urgency of today. Don't waste a moment where you could be getting better at anything that you choose to put your mind to. A lot of times, man, time is what we want the most, Craig, but what we use the worst. It's a quote that I love. Time is what we want the most, but we use the worst.
Fair enough.
That we use the worst. So I just, like, to anybody that's listening to the show, the urgency of today. Like, don't waste a moment. Don't waste the time you have with your loved ones, because you don't know when that time can be taken away from you.
What's that the Veep was saying? The passage of time. Was it the passage?
Yes. I mean, like,
This Harris was doubling, tripling down on that quote.
Yeah. Make sure, like, you tell the people you love how you care about them. Make sure you tell them you love them, because you just never know, man. Like, me and Craig would like to think we're going to be here till 90, 95, but I could also not make it to 43. So, time is precious, and time wasted can never be gotten back. So try to make the most of the day.
Mm.
And on that, we'll take a break.
Listening to Craig D, Molat,
All right, welcome back. What in the sports? Craig, I wanted to do a little different exercise with you today, dog. I
Let's
wanted to
talk
go
to it.
through a mock draft and have you and I mock the mock draft.
Okay, let's market the mock draft.
Let's mock the mock draft. So we'll give credit to what mock draft we're looking at. We're looking at a CBS mock draft by Will Brinson. Shout out Will Brinson. Let's see if we agree with Mr. Brinson. All right, round one. We're just going to do the top 10 picks. Chicago Bears taking Caleb Williams. I definitely agree with him, man. I feel like this is the no-brainer pick in the draft.
So you're not even giving a consideration to a Drake May or
Jaden
any
Daniels,
Knicks,
no.
any of them?
None.
How far away is the second quarterback from Caleb Williams?
Dog, here would be my question to you. Who is the second quarterback? Like, is it May or Daniels? I feel like that's the competition right there. Full disclosure, dog, I don't know enough about Drake May to give you my position on Drake May. I saw Jaden Daniels play, and I liked what I saw from Jaden Daniels. I probably would take Jaden Daniels over Drake May, but you know, like I said, full disclosure, I've heard people compare him to Justin Herbert with not as strong of an arm, which I don't get the comparison because if you don't have as strong of an arm, how could you be Justin Herbert? But you know, people say he's talented, so
I got you.
I would probably leave Jaden Daniels second.
Well, yeah, in the one we're looking at, we have Caleb, Jaden, and Drake 1, 2, 3, and a lot of the mocks do that. Do you? Before we leave Caleb, are you sold on what he's going into?
Oh, I like what they've done, dog. They got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift. The O-line was top 10 in pass block win rate and run block win rate last year. The defense was looking stout at the end of the year. I think he's walking into an amazing situation. And you add on to that, Craig, that they also have the 9th pick in the draft. So, you know, I think the Bears are stacked, man. And they clearly, obviously, paved the way for Williams this week when they traded Justin Fields to the Steelers. Steelers quarterback room looks spicy. What do you think about the Steelers room?
I never
First of all, Craig, before you go, let me ask you something else about the Steelers room. What corny ass phrase is Russell Wilson going to give us this year? Is it going to be like welled up or like what cornball phrase is about to come out of his mouth to try to unite the Steelers fans?
I don't think he's talking this year.
Oh, he's not. Doc, if he says welled up, someone should smack the shit out of him.
I don't see it. I think he's off that branding thing that he was doing over there.
Full disclosure, once again, dog, I can't stand Russell Wilson, but
why do we like? I think Russ. I've been following him since what? South Carolina State, was it?
NC State. He went to started at Wisconsin, then he went to NC State.
Exactly. I followed it, and I remember he had a baseball background. I like the man's work. I don't buy into the whole corny thing personally. I understand a lot of people got a lot of jokes for old boy, but
corny as hell.
Yeah, but he about to rack up some W's. That's about to happen.
I mean, the Steelers are Doc. If the Steelers could win 10 games with Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph, Russell Wilson is still better than them boys. I don't like Russell Wilson.
Now is everything.
That doesn't take away from his ability to win football games, though. The other thing I like for the Steelers, man, is, you know, they got themselves some insurance in case it doesn't work out with Russ. They traded for Fields. It only cost them a 6th-round pick. Dang. For Justin
Fields,
the
future, depth is everything. Depth is everything.
For Justin Fields, this couldn't have played out like any worse, dog. Because he's not going to be the starter. He's got to hope either that Wilson gets hurt or Wilson performs badly in order to get into the game.
It's a great. I think it's a good situation.
But he's not playing. I'm talking about from that aspect of it. He went from being a 3-year starter to now he's the definitive backup on the Steelers. And dog, the Steelers have to. There's no way the Steelers pick up his fifth-year option.
No,
but they're not going to pick up his fifth-year option and pay him $25 million.
they're not.
So
But
he's going to have to
I
take
think
some
he has
kind
a
of.
future there.
If he's willing to take a deal, that shows he might be a backup for a couple of years, yeah, he might have a future there, dog. Learn under Russ. But, the thing about them is I don't trust their offensive coordinator. I do not like Arthur Smith as a play caller. I thought what he did with the Atlanta Falcons was trash. Maybe it'll be different because he actually has a quarterback in Pittsburgh, unlike what he had in Atlanta with Desmond Ridder. So, we'll see. We'll see, man. Doc, I was so crushed after the Super Bowl, Craig. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be excited about this next season. But the NFL, once again, they got me hooked. They got me hooked. They got me hooked.
No,
dog.
the season never ends. Just the games.
They got me hooked. I know a lot of fans of other teams wanted their team to get Justin Fields and are wondering why they didn't come up off a 5th rounder, which is better than a 6th rounder to get him. But I just think the league obviously showed that they viewed him differently, man. Like, shout out to our boy OJ, his Raiders.
Bruce.
He wanted them desperately to get Justin Fields. But they went another route. Who did the Raiders pick up, dog? It's escaping my mind. Oh,
The funny part is I read it today. I can't remember. That's bad.
They paid your boy Gardner Minshew.
There you go.
So, our boy Juice.
Let's go Raiders. He's gonna fit in. He's feisty. He's feisty.
Oh yeah, Juice. Craig is a fellow Raider fan. But
he's gonna fit in.
Juice was not happy that the Raiders decided to go with Gardner Minshew over Justin Fields, dog. Not a happy Juice at all. All right, next pick in the draft, in the mock draft. He's got the Commanders taking Drake May. Me personally, I already told you, dog. If I'm the Commanders, I would take Daniel. I would take him.
Yeah, I'm seeing some people come up Daniels, but honestly, I think here I go again. Because I mix them up because of the school. What do you think? Is it solely about injury that keeps Knicks and Pinnock out of this conversation? Because both of them get criticized for age/injury history, one more than the other. And I kind of get them mixed up.
I don't, me personally, dog, I don't think Knicks is as talented as the ones at the top 3. I think Penix is a talented passer. The problem is, like you said, 1 is injuries. 2, he's old, man. Like, he's been in college for like 6 years.
More mature.
Yeah, more mature, but, an NFL thing.
Quarterback's a leader.
The other thing that scares me about Penix is he's not mobile like that. He's not going to move or get you yards, whereas Knicks can do some things with his legs. So, but if I'm a team that doesn't have a quarterback and I have an opportunity to I like Penix more than I like Knicks.
Okay.
I like Penix more than I like Knicks. If I'm in the 2nd round, man, and Penix is there, and I'm a team whose quarterback situation is shaky, or I have an older quarterback and I want to eventually transition, I feel like Penix would be worthy of like a 2nd round pick, in my opinion.
But you agree with the Commanders needing a quarterback. You're just not sure who the best one is.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to take a quarterback. They got rid of Howell. Like, somebody's got a quarterback that they haven't had a quarterback in a minute now. Like, they got to fix this problem. So
Doug Williams ain't coming back.
Who?
Doug Williams.
Nah, hell nah. Doug Williams. You talking about a midlife? Doug Williams is on the 3/4 life crisis.
Hey man, he got a ring, don't he?
Oh,
am I tripping?
Nah, Doug Williams. That's one of the crazy things about Joe Gibbs with the Redskins or the Commanders. He won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. That's crazy.
You're right.
3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. It's impressive. So, I got Daniels. Who do you got going to the Commanders?
I've kind of been favoring Drake May.
Okay, you're sticking
I've
with
kind of been
our
favoring
boy
Drake May.
Brinson here because Brinson has
I
Drake
think
May.
that's I watch a lot of ACC, SEC football, and I think that might be a big part of the bias. Even though, yeah, I saw Jaden, but I think something about that. I don't know if I saw enough. Like he kind of just.
I mean, he's a
didn't see him at
1-year
Arizona.
wonder. He wasn't like this the whole time. So
Yeah, and I heard he was at Arizona or Arizona State before that. I didn't follow as closely, but so I don't
Arizona
know.
State.
You know,
I also wouldn't be against either the Commanders or the Patriots trading out of these picks to get more picks. To be honest
I
with
was
you,
gonna ask you that. So
because
what would you how far would you go back if you were either one of them?
depends on what a team is offering me. The further back I have to go, the more I have to get. So yeah, dog. Like if one of these teams, if the Vikings are willing to trade up and give me a mother load, I would definitely do it. If the Giants are willing, I would definitely do it. Who else could possibly be interested in doing that? The Broncos. The Broncos are desperate. If any one of those teams wants to trade up with me, man, and offer me a lot of draft picks, I think I would definitely do that. Because let's be honest, Craig, the Commanders and the Patriots need multiple players. They're not just one quarterback away from competing.
All right.
All right, so I'm guessing in the third pick, you got the Patriots taking Daniel.
I'm kind of with, that's where I was gonna get with. That's why I started nodding my head with what you said. I think they need to get up out of there probably more so than the Commanders.
I agree with you. They have less talent than the Commanders in my mind.
They got to get up out. They got to get up out of that spot. I was gonna ask you. Like who you think they should trade, but you already beat me to that because I don't.
Yeah,
I
those
think
are
they
the
need
teams.
to get up out of there. Huh?
So you want them to trade back, okay? But no matter what happens with the third pick, I think you and I would agree. Even if they trade out of it, the team who's in the third slot is picking who's left of May or Daniels.
Probably, and it's probably going to be that. So then it goes on to the Marvin Harrison to projected going forth to the Cardinals. Then
I think that's a no-brainer.
Is that a lock?
Huh? Yeah, they got rid of Hollywood Brown. They have no receivers. It makes sense that they take Harrison Jr. to me. But
we overlooked the quarterback also.
I like
overlooked the quarterback that just won a national championship, bro.
I like Kyler Murray. Like I don't feel like Arizona needs a quarterback.
I'm just saying in our 1, 2, 3 conversation, all those names we mentioned 5 names. We didn't mention J.J. McCarthy. Is that a testimony how deep this draft is then?
So you brought up Penix and Nix, and I do believe I'd rather have McCarty than both of them. So in this mock draft, in the 5th pick, he's got Minnesota trading with the Chargers and taking J.J. McCarthy. He's got an arm, man. And, you know, that little Alabama game, Craig, he showed he had some moxie to me. He stood in there. He took some big hits. He delivered when his team needed him the most. So you put him on Minnesota, he's throwing to Justin Jefferson. I think I could complete a couple of passes to Justin Jefferson if you put me out there, dog. So
I'm only taking a 3-step drop. Ain't no way I'm holding the ball longer than that. Wherever he's at 3 steps is wherever it's gonna be.
Dog, I'm throwing the ball to a spot. I'm not even looking up. I got to keep my eyes on the pass rush. I can't get hit. I could die.
No, you're not supposed to keep your eyes on the pass rush.
Shit. So in this draft, he's got the Chargers trading out and the Vikings taking McCarthy. If anybody trades up to the 5th pick, they're definitely doing it to get a quarterback. So I could see McCarthy going in the top 10, dog. I definitely could.
Look like that stock went up.
6th pick, they got the Giants taking Malik Neighbor.
Is that what they need?
Who's the name a receiver on the Giants team?
Um,
Plaxico Burress.
this is where I get a little old school. Could they have used a better line last year? Better O-line?
Hell yeah. To me, in this pick, Craig, they either need to take Neighbors or they need to take the best O lineman, Alt from Notre Dame. Their O line was trash.
So you see me. That's why I asked about, is that what they really need? Because okay, so you get a dope wide receiver. How many dope receivers catching balls from quarterbacks that are throwing from their back?
Yeah, I mean, either way
I'm a build a football team from the lined out philosophy. I'm really on that,
and I believe in that too. I don't think the Giants could go wrong with either pick, dog. The thing about this draft is the thing that the Giants need is a receiver and an O lineman, and luckily for them in this draft, it's deep at offensive tackle and receiver. So whatever they do here, they need to take the other with their second round pick. They take a receiver here, they need to go O lineman in the second round. They take an O lineman, they need to go receiver in the second round. So
one of these mock drafts do have New York. One says Neighbors, one says Joe Alt. So I'm not
that's who it's gonna come down to. So you got them taking Joe Alt. I won't lie to you. I do want them to take Neighbors because I want our boy Rand to get Joe Alt because Tennessee needs O-line help too. So if Tennessee dog can get Joe Alt to pair with Peter, who they took last year, the guard from Northwestern.
Yeah.
Now they got something on the O-line. They already got Ridley. They got Hopkins. If Levis can
put
play,
that rocket arm to use.
Yeah. If Levis can play and you can protect him, you might have some. But I feel like Tennessee, if Alt is gone, dog, I'm fascinated to see what Tennessee's gonna do.
One of the projections suggests because like I said, the same projection that projected Joe Alt goes 6 to the Giants is projecting a Penn State tackle to go Fashanu.
Yeah, Bubba.
His name.
My DP, Babatunde's cousin. They got him going. Yeah. But a lot of mock drafts I've seen have him going later in the first round. So if I'm Tennessee and Alt is gone, I would probably look to see if I can trade back, accumulate some assets, and then pick an O tackle later on. That's what I would do. But if Alt is there, I'd probably run to the podium with Alt's name on there. Run to the podium. Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to take Dallas Turner, man. I think they have to take Dallas Turner. Atlanta is the worst. They're so bad at getting to the – dog, you know when Atlanta's last great pass rusher was? You ready for this name, Craig?
Ooh.
John Abram.
Wow.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So if I was them, I would take Dallas Turner.
That's almost as far back as the big shoulder pass, ain't it?
That's crazy when you think about it, man. Who do you got the Bears taking at 9?
I want them to go with Brock Bowers, personally. I want them to go get Brock Bowers.
Craig, I said that too. If they could get – a lot of people got them going defense, but I'm like, if they could get Bowers, and they got Williams, Bowers, Keenan, DJ Moore, Swift, they got weapons, man. They'll be tough. They will be tough to guard, dog.
I might be over romanticizing it. I kind of want to see the new quarterback have a versatile pass catcher in the same year as him that he could grow with, and or an O lineman he could grow with. But we both know that O lineman won't be there come number 9. So I get it, and some of the mocks are projecting Dallas Turner in this spot instead. But there's a part of me that says if it's possible, if it ain't a stud O lineman, it's gotta be like Brock Bowers. I know Odunze is still out there. Some strong receivers still out there.
But they
But
already got 2 receivers.
and so, okay, what at this position in the draft would it be easier to upgrade the tight end or the receiver?
I mean, Doc, I would probably just take whichever pass catcher I thought was best because Keenan Allen could only be there for a year. Like, who knows how long Keenan Allen's going to be there. But I'm also with you. If I could put Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Brock Bowers on the field together, it's going to cause problems for other teams. This mock that I'm looking at with the 10th pick got the Jets taking, how do you say his name? Rome
Odunze.
Odunze. They got him taking Odunze. I don't know if they're going to do that now that they signed Mike Williams, even though it'd probably be a smart play for the future. But I'm just going to put this out there, man. I have a feeling that the San Francisco 49ers are going to trade Brandon Ayuk, which should get them another first-round pick. I could see the 49ers combining 2 first-round picks to trade up and get one of these top 3 receivers. I could see that in this draft. So just a little something to look out for. Other than that, man, we're mocking the mock draft. Craig is obviously well versed on his draft knowledge. I can't wait, Craig. I can't wait for this draft.
I've been trying not to nerd out, but I want to see how things play out for next year.
Oh, I watch a little bit of film. I like to watch a little bit of film before the draft, dog, to see what players I really like. Other players I like in this draft, the cornerback from Toledo, Quinion Mitchell, love him.
Okay.
Love him. I think he's awesome. A.D. Mitchell from Texas, big fan. Big fan of A.D. Mitchell from Texas, man. 6'4", 196, ran a 4.3, 4.40. I'll take some of that all day. You know who else I think is nice? Ladd McConkey. The 6-foot wide receiver from Georgia. He runs nice routes.
Yeah.
I like him.
I'm not
Robinson.
in practice of shouting out Seminoles, but Jared Verse gets a shout out, bro.
Jared Verse, they got him going in the top 10. Going in the top 10.
A shout out.
He's definitely going to get a shout out. I'm with you. So we're going to see, man. I can't wait to see this draft.
You talk about highlights. I got to ask you, switching sports for a second here, brother. You see the boy over there making highlights in the NBA, Ant-Man?
I mean, what he did to John Collins should be a crime. Yeah, dude, his athleticism is so freaky. Like, how quickly he gets up that high is amazing. Now, when I tell you, I don't even think that's his best highlight of the year. To me, his best highlight of the year is when he hit his head on the rim, blocking the shot to save the game.
Yeah.
Like, he's just, coming out of Georgia, Craig, because I saw him play at Georgia, and he was just like a shot jacker.
I saw him jump over somebody's head in college, too.
Yeah.
Did he put his lap in somebody's face on the baseline?
He was a super athletic guy, and you were like, will he ever be able to put it together? And the improvement he's made from last year to this year is just phenomenal, man. Like, absolutely phenomenal. He's a pleasure to watch play. He's having fun out there. And these dunks, as long as he remembers to be out there for the opening tip, it's been awesome this year, dog. That's the only flaw in his game. He's not sure what time the game starts. But other than that, man, I love watching him play. There's a lot of players this year, Craig, that I feel like are having breakouts, like Halliburton in Indiana. He's been awesome.
And he's over there leading that team, boy. That offense is running.
Your boy in San Antonio, Wembanyama, has been as advertised. To have that handle at that height is it's crazy. Just crazy.
Knock your shot, dunk on you, and shoot the 3.
Yeah. Fox in Sacramento continues to impress. there is a lot of Gillis Alexander has taken a step forward this year for OKC. There's a lot of impressive young talent.
OKC is to be feared.
I mean, you don't.
They're
I don't
deep,
think,
and they've set themselves up to get deeper. They should be feared. The only thing they lack is experience.
They still have 1 million picks coming to them from all these trades. Like
Exactly.
the Clippers still owe them for Paul George. So what he's done, their GM Presti over there in OKC, after losing Durant and Westbrook and Harden, has been nothing short of just phenomenal, man. Like phenomenal. So, you know, the team that should be the favorite right now is the Celtics. The problem with the Celtics is like, the best analogy for the Celtics, Craig, is like if you met your lady at the strip club, it's like, and you fell in love. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you love her. Like, you met her at the strip club and you love her.
Damn right I do.
The problem is, in the back of your mind, you're like, can I trust her? Can I trust her? And that's how I feel about the Celtics. Can you trust them when it's playoff time? Or are the Celtics going to finally step up when it's playoff time and, sing that sweet Usher song where it's like, I don't care if you strip. You say, so like, that's my thing with the Celtics.
Mine.
I love that song, dog. I love that song.
It pops.
If you
It pops.
dance on the pole, as long as you come
Like,
home. So
I told you
if
that
you ask me to put money on it, I got the Celtics. If you ask me if I'm confident on that, no. The other team that I think that gets completely slept on in this conversation is the actual champions, the Nuggets. Like, the Nuggets are so under the radar. No one talks about them because their best player, even though he's 7 feet, he can't even dunk. So, like, that's why I feel that.
I believe point guard name is Jamal Murray, right?
He's a stud.
I believe he's he's underrated, not grossly, but definitely underrated and underappreciated just because of, one, his market, and two, the team around him. That's a really good point guard that they got going on over there. And we were talking at one point in regards to back in the day, my telltale metric for a successful team at this point in the season used to be team assists, but that's so inflated right now. That being said, Nuggets are third.
Yeah, you can't go by team assists. I'll tell you that, because the Pacers
Not like I used to. No,
are not winning this championship.
There's way too many cats. But damn near at 30.
I'll keep telling y'all this, man. I'm excited about my Magic, man. We keep winning games. We're 41-28 now. I want to see
Banchero down there, right?
Oh, Banchero. I love him. I am beyond excited to see these boys in the Craig. If we could win a round, if we could just win one, if we could win a round and beat the New York Knicks, they would make my year. Like, if we could just end the Knicks fan, put them in their misery, that would make me beyond.
You just made Brother Frey turn off the broadcast.
Yes, Brother Frey, if you're listening, we want the Knicks in the first round. Brother Williams, if you're listening, we want the Knicks in the first round. We want that smoke. We want it. That's right, Spike Lee.
Oh man, so all right, let me get your thoughts on Brunson then, because the Knicks got something stewing over there.
Brunson nice. Brunson nice. The Knicks problem recently has just been injuries. They've been so hurt. OG's been out, Randall's been out, Brunson missed a little bit of time. But Doc, if the Knicks could just get one more like star in there, they'd have something, dog. Like, they might actually have a chance to compete. Because they're not going to win the championship this year.
Nah, that was never on the table. But it's good to see. It's good to see New York fans feeling the feels that they feel. And it's funny because half
Knicks
of them
fans
are
are like
scared of being happy. They
Knicks
don't want to
fans are.
get happy because they it's a
You know who
trust
Knicks
thing.
fans are like, dog? Knicks fans and Cowboys fans are one and the same. They get excited for no reason, and then they get unbelievably disappointed when it doesn't work out, even though deep down inside they don't know it was going to work. I don't even know anyone that was the only person I know that was alive when the Knicks won a championship was Fox. And that's it's because he was alive for all the championships, Super Bowl I, all that shit. Fox was there. So, like, I don't know who the hell has ever seen the Knicks win the championship.
I can't remember it.
I'm telling you, man. But it's not. I really believe the Celtics will be there. The Bucks will be there. I'd love to see the Celtics and Bucks meet up in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I really think the Nuggets are going to
do you really think the East has a? Do you really think the championship coming out of the East?
I'm more confident in the Celtics than I would be in the Bucks as presently construed. Because for me, the question with the Bucks is what's Middleton going to look like when he gets back? Now, if Middleton can look like the Middleton from 2 years ago, I think Milwaukee is a tough out. I really do. Because they're playing much better defense now under Doc Rivers. They're getting it together on offense. I don't know why it took Milwaukee so long to realize that running the pick and roll with Dame and Giannis was a good idea, but they seem to have figured this out now. So, and then in the West, it comes down to the Nuggets and whoever the Nuggets are playing in the Western Conference Finals. Whoever is able to make it up out of that pack that's not the Denver Nuggets.
I hope to see some more out of that. That's fair enough. It's still early in the league. We're past the halfway point, but still not quite to when things start tightening up. You feel me?
Yep.
But,
we're way past the halfway point. The league, there's what, like 12, 13 games left.
It feels like there's so much more left.
No, dog. Like, you got to think the All-Star break comes much later on in the year now. So there's like 12, 13 games left, man.
So we're
because the Magic are 41 and 28. So that's what, 69 games right there. There's only 81 games in the 82. Year. 82.
Yeah.
82. So there's 13 games left.
I'm not feeling the playoff pressure, bro. Is it just me? I don't feel the playoff energy exuding from the association right now.
I mean, I feel it, dog. The problem is football just is like
all the oxygen,
even with the off season. So, speaking of Celtics Bucks, they're actually playing right now. Milwaukee's up. Boston's winning 110-104. 3 minutes left in the fourth.
Okay.
So there's an update. There's an update for you.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right. We back. Welcome back, good brother Amish Craig. What have you been watching?
I have been watching a sitcom from the early part of my coming to America experience called Perfect Strangers.
They don't know nothing about Malky and Cousin Larry, dog. They don't
Cousin Larry Appleton.
They don't know nothing about that, dog.
Balki Bartakamus.
Hey man, TGIF. That was part of the TGIF lineup with Family Matters and Full House. And I'm here to tell y'all it was a hell of a night. It was must see TV, Craig. Must see.
It was popping until I started figuring out the ways to get out of the house on a Friday night, but it was a time for a long time. So, and for me, like I said, it was still this whole country was still new to me at that time. So it was an impact there. As far as what you've been watching, dog.
First of all, I want to point out that you turned your back on cousin Balky and Larry because you were trying to chase the cat Friday night. So
I know.
I'm putting that out there.
Damn.
I told y'all last episode, man, Craig philosophy is, if I ask enough, somebody got to say yes. So that was on TGI on Friday nights. What have I been watching, dog, on Netflix? I told you, man, I'm obsessed with these cooking competition shows, dog. I've been watching a show called Barbecue Throwdown or Showdown on Netflix. In the final competition, when it was finally down to two barbecue masters, they had to cook a whole hog, which I couldn't do because I don't like when the eyes of the animal are still in the animal. Like even whole fish, I can't do it. I feel like
I can do it. I can do it on the fish. It's all right.
I can't, man. I just don't like when the eyes are there. Just like remove like the eyes. But I just love these cooking competitions, dog. I just love cooking. I feel like when I watch them, I learn other techniques, other foods to make, to add to my culinary arsenal, you could say. So that's what I've been watching, brother. What have you been listening to?
Wale. I got a Wale 2-pack on regular. Excuse me. Yeah, a Wale 2-pack in regular rotation this week. Disclaimer, it's not that I'm emotionally connected to the songs. It's a vibe, right? First one is Sabotage by Wale featuring Lloyd, and the second one is Matrimony, Wale with Usher, both features. Okay. And so I bet that's my little two pack of vibes right there. What's up with you?
A lot of 90s hip hop this week, man, and some Biggie, Notorious Thugs, Liberation by Outkast. Liberation by Outkast is one of my all-time favorite songs.
So, for the record, you know how things come in 20s, right? Just on the 90s hip hop thing. Seeing some of the young people around and see them wearing like, a hoodie or a t-shirt with an act not from their era on it. These people are born in 2010 with a Notorious B.I.G. hoodie on. So I'm like, yo, name one song.
Can they name a song? Hey man, at least they're paying homage. At least they're paying homage. I can't even hate on that. What else was I listening to, man? One of the more underrated rappers, I feel, Craig, is another gentleman I've been listening to this week, Common. I love me some Common Sense, dog. Retrospect for Life with Lauryn Hill is an amazing song. I used to love her. The history of hip hop as it goes through different regions is an amazing song. The Light, the album Like Water for Chocolate I've been playing. I thought that was a great album. Just
Come
a
Closer.
big
Come Closer needs honorable mention. The song Come Closer, I think it's him and Mary J. Blige.
Yes. But I know this people don't remember, but I'm a big fan of the artists that came from the OK Player, like Little Crew, The Roots, Mos Def, Talib, like just a big fan of their music, man. So I've been listening to that.
All right, I can rock with that. What you been reading on?
I was doing a lot of reading on Black trauma, which was depressing. But I've also been reading up on, but informative, which is important. Knowledge is power. I've also been reading up on the Russian Revolution, man. In particular on Rasputin. Rasputin was a wild boy. Uh, so the Russian Revolution has everything you'd want. The Russian Revolution was like an episode of like Desperate Housewives of Atlanta. There was cheating scandals, there was murder, there was backstabbing, there was everything you could want in the Russian Revolution. So that's what I've been reading up on.
Gotcha.
What
I'm
have you
over
been
here.
reading, my brother?
I'm following up on I'm rereading or restarting a Robert Greene book that I started many years ago. According to the notes I have in my margins, I left off in June of 2013 in the book Mastery by Robert Greene. He has another book that he produced in regards to 48 Laws of Power that I've reread many times and wouldn't be surprised if I picked it up again while I'm going through this one. But apparently my first time through, I got to page 40 something before I fell off. And early on, I had to pat myself on the back. I take pretty good notes. My highlights and stuff that from last time, they're actually, I'm kind of proud of that. And but the message that I got from it was saying that, the first move towards mastery is always inward. And it was saying that I need to reconnect with what's the proper stage here? Reconnect with my base inclinations, the stuff that I just really love doing. And sort of get lost in it. So far, that's kind of where I'm getting that much of a message from the start. And especially with the anecdotes shared, one in particular about Leonardo da Vinci. So,
okay.
Apparently, I don't know if I heard this before, but it didn't stick until now. Apparently, he was on the list of people that got snubbed in regards to the opportunity to do the Sistine Chapel.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, dog, but I've actually had an opportunity to see the Sistine Chapel, and it is pretty awe-inspiring once you're in its presence.
Tell me more.
I don't know if I thought the art was beautiful. I also thought all the marble they stole to furnish the Vatican was amazing to witness in real life as well. But man, Craig, like if you ever get an opportunity to be in there, man, it's like wow. It really is like whoa, to quote Black Rob.
Heard.
Keep us updated, Amish Craig, as you read the book in the candlelight because you don't believe in the light bulb.
Can we get Amish Craig across the bottom like that? I'm gonna lean into this thing.
Nitty.
Bring around.
We need Amish
grow this
Craig
beard out and
across the
change my
bottom,
whole
Nitty.
aesthetic.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Amish Craig, I thought I would end the show. You and I are a great appreciator of the women in our lives, especially the Black women. And it got me to thinking about, the horrific numbers that I was reading earlier about the things they go through with their health in this country when it comes to the babies and stuff. So just one of my favorite poems about women is written by the great Maya Angelou, and it's called Women's Work. And I was just going to read that to pay homage to the women in our lives. It says, I've got the children to tend, the clothes to mend, the floor to mop, the food to shop, then the chickens to fry, the baby to dry. I got company to feed, the garden to weed. I've got shirts to press, the tots to dress, the cane to be cut. I got to clean up this hut. Then see about the sick and the cotton to pick. Shine on me, sunshine, rain on me, rain. Fall softly, dewdrops, and cool my brow again. Storm, blow me from here with your fiercest wind. Let me float across the sky till I can rest again. Fall gently, snowflakes, cover me with white, cold icy kisses, and let me rest tonight. Sun, rain, curving sky, mountain, oceans, leaf and stone. Stars shine, moon glow, you're all that I can call my own. Shout out to my mom, Shout out to Mama Lindo and to my wife. Babe, I love you.
Well done, brother.
And Mama Ennis, you know how I feel about you. Mama Ennis, shout out to you too. That's for all the women in our lives, man. You know, they do so much, and I feel like that poem always touches on that, man. Just want them to know that they don't go unnoticed. They don't go unnoticed. On that note, we are out. Brother Craig, anything you got to say?
Keep your head up, keep your feet moving.
Just remember you control your emotions, my good people. Like, don't let anyone take away your sunshine. You know, don't let them affect your happiness and the joy that you get out of life. Other than that, shout out to Juice. Shout out to Fox, if Fox ever hears the other shout outs in this show for him. Shout out to the genius that is Carlton Ennis, our producer Nitty. You know we love you. We're out. Have a good evening, y'all.
Craig D. Molat. You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.